how to supercharge your fingers and speed the fingers up in a slow tempo. In this video we are going to learn how to do that. Hi, my name is Lars Nelissen. I'm a classical pianist and teacher, and on this channel I like to teach people like yourself how to play the piano better in a more enjoyable way. So how really to boost your technique and at the same time becoming a better musician. If you like this video, then also hit that like button to let other people know that this is a good video, and of course don't forget to subscribe, because I noticed that too few people who watch this video and like this video, too few of them actually subscribe. So subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. To learn fast fingers in a slow tempo is very well possible, and I learned that from my teacher Avi Schoenfeld, who learned that again from his teachers like Ilona Vinci and Yvonne Lefebvre and Arthur Rubinstein. He referred to it as the umbrella technique. The umbrella technique is actually you open your hand to have your fingers in a prepared position to play the notes that they have to play. But at the same time, we can strike the key fast. By doing that, we actually train finger speed while we play from note to note in a slow tempo. We still use very active fingers. And then when we play the next note, the moment that note presses the key, the other finger goes up in a fast position back to the prepared position. So like that we also develop a very good finger independence, strength and flexibility, because by lifting the fingers you make this part, the skin between your fingers, also more flexible, so you get a better stretch. I'm going to show you, demonstrate it you with a few exercises on the piano. The first exercise what I use for it is a very simple, just 5-finger exercise. Besides all the exercises, you can download them in the link in the description. Yes, very simple. Every beginner can learn this exercise. It's even easier than the first exercise by Hanno, which goes like. You know, etc. This one is even easier and very good, so you don't have to really be busy with notes. You can be busy just with the technique of opening the hand and striking fast. First, do the hands separate. It's very important to do the hands separate so that you can really feel what you're doing. See, open the hand. I have my fingers in a prepared position, so they're open. That's why it's like an umbrella. And then I strike. Fast. And fast. And the next one. You see, what I do, I actually play fast with a very fast speed towards the key. So I actually train my fingers to have speed, and yet the notes follow up each other in a slow tempo. Every time, see, between each note I feel a little relaxation in the muscles. By this I isolate each note from the other note, which also has a good result for getting better finger independence. But before we continue the rest of the exercise, I want you to really understand one thing. I want you to understand where the muscles of the fingers are. When I ask this to new students, here are the muscles of the fingers. You see a few tiny muscles, but here is not the real engine, the real motor of your fingers. The real motor of your fingers is here. These muscles, see? When you make a fist, you will also see them even becoming bigger. And when you move your fingers, see them moving? This is the motor, this is the engine. So when we talk about activating your muscles of the fingers, I'm talking about these muscles here. And when I'm talking about arm movement from the lower arm, I'm talking about arm movement starting from this point. But in this video we will talk about the fingers. So we're not going to talk about arm movements yet. Yes? So, activate. And not faster than this, but lightning fast speed. See? I prepare each strike, and there's a small relaxation between each note. And back. We do it over 1 octave. We do it over 1 octave, and then we do the other hand, the left hand. Or we do first left and right, maybe. Sometimes it's even better to start with the left hand because it's the weakest. So it's best to start with the weakest of the two. For most, not for everyone, but for most people, left is the weaker hand. See? And what you have to pay attention to, a few things. We have to concentrate the fingers well enough, so not spaghetti fingers. Our fingers has a resistance, they have a resistance. So when you, let's say, hang the weight of your arm, they must be supported by the fingers. So the fingers must not collapse under the weight of the arm or under the pressure or under the speed and power from the strike. The key has a weight. There's a little weight in the key. So the key pushes back up. It's not much. 70 grams, it's about that, depending on where on the keyboard. Here the key is lighter. Yeah, they're a little bit heavier. That you ask your piano technician, he knows everything about it. And in order to manipulate that key and the sound, and to get the good control over the sound, we need the concentration in the fingers, a resistance. Our fingers need to have this resistance so they can push that key. Same than when you take something, let's say I want to write something, my fingers are not spaghetti. If that was the case, the pencil would fall from my hand. So there is a concentration, I call that, in my fingers. When I pick up something heavier, then my fingers need to concentrate even more in order that the thing doesn't fall from my hand. In the piano we use different levels of concentration of the fingers, not just when we play louder and stronger, but also when we play soft to change the sound quality. More concentrated fingers give a more crystalline, clear, crisp sound, while a little bit softer fingers with a good combination of arm movements and arm weight gives a more sonore and more warm sound. You can play with that because every passage, every note needs its own individual sound color. But as a technique, we need also to be aware of the concentration, because when we do the exercise like this, we concentrate in a quite high level, not in the level that it becomes, we should never become stiff, because the secret, the key lies when we concentrate fingers, is that the wrist is always free of tension. So when I push anything with my fingers, if that's the piano keys or anything, or hold something, I have to feel it here. Always pay attention, work on a flexible, free wrist, flexible arm and free wrist, I like to say. The arm is not completely free because it moves, but the wrist is free and the fingers are concentrated. Many students, when they concentrate the fingers, they make the wrist tight. I ask them to loosen the wrist, suddenly the fingers become spaghetti. But when I hold a pencil, that's not the case. My wrist is free. It's not tight. So why with piano playing make it different? That's more psychology, more the way of thinking. So many students have to first to learn to think in different way and work on it until it becomes like a second nature. For me, I don't have to think about it. My wrist is always free and my fingers are always in a certain level concentrated, and my arm is always looking for the right movements to smoothen out every passage. Yes, so this is the way. I will take now another exercise we can do, another one from my book Super Fingers, which you can, by the way, buy. You can find it, the link in the description, or even better, because I will tell you later about it, about my my new course where I go in depth on all these things, but also arm movements and combining the fingers and the arm movements and many different type of arm techniques and so on. I will show you now another exercise from my book Super Fingers. It's with sustained notes. It's number 48 in the book. You can download this exercise also in the description. So also this again, you walk first the hands separate. That is the first phase. When we do the hands together, we already go to the second phase. And then we must also start to think about arm movements. Here we keep it to the first phase. So make sure that when this note sustains, you don't need to press for it. You don't need to push. Just let a slight arm weight. You only need 70 grams of arm weight to keep this key down. Yes, and that's easily much more your arm weight. And another thing I like you to do is to improvise with the notes. So when I do exercises or passages, when I also learn passages in this way, then I always work in an improvising manner. So I feel what I do, I try to feel it here, and I try to mold these muscles and the shape of my hands according to the situation on the keys. And then I feel the weaker points and I do them more. So that's what is written, see? And all the time I keep this fourth finger down. Okay, this one. Try to feel a relaxation between each note. Try to keep it flexible, the wrist free. When you get tired, it's not because of lifting the fingers, but it's because of tightening up the wrist or stiff arms. That will make you very tired. Not lifting the fingers. That's very normal. It's like striking the ball. You prepare and then you strike. Prepare and then you strike. From the preparation, you take energy, and when you strike, you release it. So, that is actually what happens here. I take energy and release it each time. And to the next goal. Also the next, see? And all the notes must be equally strong. So no accents, no notes that are weaker than others. There will be notes that will be weaker than others, but you work on it until they are not anymore. And make sure that the thumbs don't give accents. Sometimes they are too strong, and then you have to give a little bit less. So that all the fingers are equally strong, but all strong, not equally soft. In this phase we practice strong. When we want to learn to play soft, which is more difficult than strong, we first have to get strong fingers. The stronger the fingers, the easier it will be to play soft. Of course, in combination with flexible arm movements. Left. And I feel here in this, you see? See? And I search for the articulation there, and I search for freeing my fingers. What I'm doing is freeing my fingers, making them strong, flexible and fast and independent, all in the same time with this way of practicing. This is the way that many great pianists were working on their technique. Someone told me that in the early days when Vladimir Ashkenazy was still young, I heard him practicing just before the concert. There was a Mozart concerto and he was practicing trying out the piano. And what he was actually doing is to play through fast passages very slowly and with lifting the fingers like that to really free the fingers, to really prepare and make the fingers ready for the good articulation during the concert. This is a very good way to do that, to prepare yourself and to be in good shape, in good form. So now you have an idea of how to work on passages. You can work on many and all the exercises, but also passages in the pieces like this. I recently released my course Super Fingers, which you can check out in the link in the description. This is part of being a pro member on my website Piano Fantasy. And the pro membership means that you have access to all the courses and also to the live coaching, live teaching. So there will be live lessons almost weekly where you can show your playing, ask questions, and we will give you really tailored feedback for you. Check out more about this program, because I really hope to see you inside. I hope you like this video so far. If you have questions, let it know in the comments. Also what you think. Subscribe if you didn't do so, and hit that like button. That will help my channel grow. If this channel grows, I will be able to make even more content and will help you even more.